Hello guys, I'm Yadagiri Reddy and welcome to my channel hyrtutorials. In this video, I will explain about different attributes available for a test in extent reports. So here the attributes are nothing but the additional information guys. The additional information that can be provided to a test. Fine. So whenever you are creating any test in the extent reports, you will be passing some information. So along with that information, if you want to pass any other additional information, how you are going to do that and what exactly this additional information is. So all these things we will try to understand in this video guys. Fine. So let me just open the Eclipse and show you what exactly information we will be passing. So whenever you are creating any test in the extent reports, you will be passing some information first of all, right? So the information is test name and test description. So if you want to pass the description, you can pass. If you don't want to, you can ignore that because it is an optional field. But the test name is always mandatory, right? So without the test name, you cannot actually create any test in the extent reports. So let me show you that. So if you type create test, you can see without your test name, you cannot actually create any test in this one. We don't have any method which accepts zero number of parameters here, right? So we have to pass at least one parameter, that is test name. So test name is the mandatory one and test description is the optional field. Just like this, if you want to pass any additional information, how you are going to do that we will see in this video guys. Fine. So what exactly this additional information is? So this is the additional information guys. The first thing is author and then category and then device. So we all know what exactly these details are, right? So for example, if you take the author is nothing but test case developer, which means who developed the test case in your automation suite. So there will be so many people who are adding the test cases to your suite, right? So you want to keep a track on who is developing which test case. Because whenever there are any failures, you need to understand whose test is failing mostly, right? So in those scenarios, you can add one attribute called author and you can track the author related information also guys. Fine. And the next thing is category. So this category is also called as groups in the testng and tags in the Cucumber. So in every tool, we have a different name, right? So combinedly, they have given some meaningful name that is category. Fine. So if you want to execute any of your test as part of any group, let's say you have divided your test cases into multiple groups, smoke, regression and sanity like that. So you are executing any one group or two groups, let's say, and you want to keep a track like which test case is executed as part of which group, right? Or maybe you want to filter your test case execution details based on the group name. So if you want to do all these things, then you need to log this information, this category information into the reports guys. Fine. And the next thing is device. So what exactly this device is? Some people will think like when I say device, they will only think like one is a laptop and other one is an iPad and the other one is a mobile like that. So it's not always only that kind of devices guys. It can be a browser version also. Fine. So sometimes when you are performing the cross-browser testing, you are not actually executing your test cases on multiple devices, but instead you are executing your test cases on multiple browsers with different versions, right? So in those scenarios, those browsers and those browser versions are actually the devices. It's not only the laptop and iPad and mobile. It can be a browser version also. Fine. So maybe as part of your cross-browser testing, you are executing your test in Chrome 98 and also Firefox 65 and then Edge 45 or something. So these Chrome 98 and Firefox 65 and Edge 45 will become your devices guys. So you need to log this information also into your report so that you can understand in which browser it is executing perfectly and in which browser we have the issues. So all these things we can actually track, right? So that is the reason we need to understand how we can log these informations also into the extent reports guys. So by using these things also, we are going to filter our test cases or we are going to categorize our test cases in the extent reports. So in the starting video, I have already shown you, right? I have clearly shown you the sample report also. And in the sample report, we have these things, right? So that is what we are going to implement today. So let's jump into the Eclipse. So first let me create one class here. I'll just copy this chapter 5 and let's create the chapter 7 class. So from this, I'm going to remove this entire information. Yeah. So now we have only one test, right? So I'll just mention this as test 1. So we have only one test. So now we will understand how we can provide this information to the test. So this is basically a test related information only, right? So every test will have the author information, and every test will have the group name or tag name, and every test will have the device information also, like in which device it is being executed, right? So all these things we are going to actually add to the test, guys. But how can we add? So whenever you are creating any test, you are not having any options here, right? So when you type create test, you are only having the options to add the name as well as name and description. But we don't have any option to add the author or device or category information, right? Then how are we going to add that? So don't worry guys, I'm going to show you how we can add those informations also, right? So I'll just mention this as test 1, and within the extend test class, so whenever you're creating any test, it will return the extend test class instance, right? So within this extend test class instance, we have 3 methods. So we have 3 methods for adding these 3 attributes, right? So what exactly those methods are? Just type assign here and you will see, guys. You see, assign author, assign category, assign device. So these are the 3 methods that we are going to use for providing this information to the test. You got it? So now let's use this information in a different way, guys. So I'm going to show you all the different scenarios here, so don't worry. So first let's assume that this test is developed by one single person, and it is part of one single group, and it is executed in one single browser. So I'm taking everything as single information here, guys. But in real time, maybe your test is executed in multiple browsers like Firefox, Chrome, and Edge, and Opera, and like that. And maybe your test is part of multiple groups also, like Smoke, Sanity, and Regression. And maybe your test is developed by multiple persons like Yadagiri, John, Rebecca, and all, right? So it can be possible. But here I'm taking only single value. That is because in the first scenario, I'm going to make it very easy for you. In the next scenario, I'm going to add multiple things also, guys. So there is a small difference. It's not very big difference. There is a small difference. So I'm going to show you the difference. Fine. So first let's take only one single information here. So I'll just provide the author name as Yadagiri because I am only developing the test. And then let's assign the category also. The category is nothing but the group name in testng. So here let's consider this as a smoke. So that means this test is part of the smoke category, smoke group, or smoke tag. Fine. And then let's assign the device information also. So here when I say device, I'm not talking about the device, that means laptop or iPad or anything, guys. So I'm talking about the browser information here. If you are doing cross-platform testing, then you can talk about those things as a device. But if you are doing only cross-browser testing, then your browser information will become the device. So I have already mentioned that, right? So here let me just add the Chrome 99. So that means I have executed my test in the Chrome 99 version, let's say. And on top of this, I'm going to add some login information also, right? So I'm going to pass this test. This is a passed test. Let's add the description also here. Test disk. So in the similar way, I'm going to add one more test with different information. So this is test 2, and this is developed by John, and this is part of the Sanity, and this is executed in Edge, and let's make this as fail. This is a fail test. That's it. So this is how you are going to create your test with all this information, guys. The author, category, and device. Fine. So we cannot provide this information while creating the test. So once the test is created, you will get the extend test class, right? So on top of that extend test class instance, you can call these methods: assign author, assign category, assign device. So all these things you can call only on top of the extend test instance. Fine. So let's execute this and see how it reflects in the reports. And once this is completed, we will go to the other scenarios like providing multiple details into the test. Fine. So now let me execute this. So the test is executed and report is automatically opened, and you can see 2 test cases are there here, right? Test 1 and test 2. So whenever you open any test, first you will find the test name and then timing and then your description is also there, right? So just above the description and below the timing, you are seeing something different here. So this is not actually provided in the earlier scenarios, right? So this is called as tags. So just like in Instagram or in LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter, wherever you post anything, you will add the hashtags, right? So nowadays hashtags is very famous thing, right? So you will add the hashtags. So just like that, here for every test, we are going to add the tags. So when it says tags, don't confuse guys. So this category is also called as groups and tags, but that tags is different and this tags is different. So this is kind of a hashtag, you can say. Okay. So we are adding this extra information, whatever we are adding, this author information, category information and device information as a tag under each test. Fine. So we are not having any separation, like this is the name, or I mean this is the author name, this is the group name, like that. We don't have any separation. So whatever the extra information that you are providing here, all this information will be added as a tag here. Now you see, Yadagiri is one tag, Smoky is one tag, Chrome 99 is one tag for this test. And if you go to the next test, John is the tag here, Sanity is the tag here, Edge 99 is the tag. So by the names or by the text itself, we need to identify who is the author and which is the category and which is the browser. That means which is the device, right? So this is how your extent report will look like, guys. So whenever you add any information of these things like author, category and device, this is how that information will reflect on your test. And apart from this change, there are few more changes that will happen in your extent reports. That is, in the left side, you can see some extra tabs are added, right? So if you click on the first one, this is for category, and the second one is for device, and the third one is for author. Fine. So if you click on the first one, you can actually categorize your test cases based on the category. So let's say you have 10 test cases and out of 10, 5 are executed as part of smoke group and 5 are executed as part of sanity group. So you can actually categorize that here. So currently we have only one test for each group. So you are not able to see the difference correctly, but in the next scenario, you can easily understand that. Fine. So you can actually categorize based on the category information or based on the device information or based on the author information also. And apart from this, in dashboard also, you can see some things extra. So based on the author and tags and device information, how many test cases are actually passed and how many are failed and how many are skipped, all those things also we can actually track. Fine. So for now, we actually have only one test in each group. So we cannot actually see the difference. So let's add few more test cases in the groups and then we will see. Fine. So now you understood, right? A basic scenario you understood, like how to add the author information, category information, device information. And we also seen that in the report also, like how it will reflect. So now let's provide multiple information. That means multiple authors, multiple categories and multiple devices also. And also, did you observe one more thing, guys? So here, whatever the order that I have mentioned, in the same order, I'm using these methods, right? Assign author, assign category, assign device. So this is the same order. So what happens if I change the order? Will it work or not? So let's try. So there is nothing wrong in trying, right? So let's try that. So I'll just mention this as test 3 and this I'll mention as Rebecca, and it is part of the regression group and it is executed in Firefox browser, and let's take the browser version as 60 or something, and let's fail this test also. So now let me just change the order of this test, I mean these methods basically. So now if you see, I have refactored the order, right? That means I have actually changed the order. So first I am providing the device information and then I am providing the category information and then I am providing the author information. But I am not getting any error here, right? Which means extent report will not actually bother about this order. You can provide in any order. Even if you don't want to provide any information also, that is fine. So for this test, I don't want to provide the device information. Or maybe for this test, the author is unknown. So I'm not going to provide the author information. That is also fine. Because these methods are not dependent on each other and they are not dependent on any order also. So if you want to provide only the author information, you can provide only the author information. And if you want to provide all the informations like author, category and device, you can do that. Fine. So in any order you can call these methods, guys. So now let me just execute this and show you. So for the third test, I'm not providing any author information, right? So you can see the report is also generated successfully. And if you open the third test, here we don't have the author information. That's it. So now let's close this and let's go back. Okay, by mistakenly I think I have ran the code coverage. So let's close this. Okay. So now we are back. So now what we observed, this information is not mandatory and it does not have to maintain the order also, right? You can call any method in any order. Fine. So that part is very clear now. So now let me add few more tests. So let's name this as test 4. And this time let's provide multiple author information. So that means first I'll provide this as the Yadagiri. So I'm assigning one author information, and after that I want to assign another author information. So I'm going to mention this as John also. That means maybe Yadagiri and John together developed this test 4. And after that, let's assign the category also. So the category I'll just mark it as smoke, as well as let's mark it as regression. Fine. And also I'm providing the device information. So the device information also I will say Chrome 97 version. Also assign device Chrome 98 version or 99 version, let's say. Fine. So this time I'm providing multiple information. That means multiple author information, multiple category information and multiple device information also. Fine. And let's just pass this test. This is a passed test. And let me just execute this. So you can see the test 4 is completed, and here all the tags, so whatever the information that you actually added, let's say the author information is Yadagiri and John. That means two authors are there. So this Yadagiri and John, two author information is logged here, and then your category information smoke and regression is also logged here, and then Chrome 97 and Chrome 99. So Chrome 99 and Chrome 97 is also logged here, right? So which means how many ever authors or how many ever categories or how many ever devices you are using, all those informations actually you can provide to your test. So those informations will be provided under the test, guys. Fine. And now if you go to this one, so you can see as part of the regression we have executed two test cases, and out of two test cases one test is passed and one test is failed, right? So what are those two? Test 3 and test 4. So it is clearly providing the information, right? So as part of the smoke I have executed two test cases, test 1 and test 4, both are passed, correct? Like this you can actually categorize your test cases based on the author information and category information and also device information. Fine. So if you want to see based on the device, so you can see Chrome 97, Firefox 60, Chrome 99. So in the Chrome 99 version we have executed two test cases, test 1 and test 4, and in the Edge we have only executed one, which is failed, right? And similarly for author also, John has developed two test cases and Yadagiri also developed two test cases. Fine. And if you go to the dashboard, even in the dashboard also you can see this information. So for which author, how many test cases are there and how many are passed and how many are failed. So the one thing that I don't like in this dashboard is here we don't have a total column, guys. See, there is no option to identify like how many test cases Yadagiri has developed. So if I want to know, what I need to do, either I need to go to this author information and I can get to know like how many test cases Yadagiri has developed, but I cannot get that information from the dashboard. So if you want to get that information from the dashboard, you have to combine all these things, right? So your passed plus failed plus skipped plus others, if you combine all of those things, then only you will get the total count. But there is no direct column for providing you the total count here. So that is the only thing that I feel it is missing, guys. Fine. But apart from that, you can see if you look at the John actually has 2 test cases. So from here you can get to know, and out of 2 test cases, one is passed and the other one is failed. So your success percentage, that means pass percentage, is only 50 for John. And similarly for tags and for devices also you can see that. Fine. So here we are calling this method multiple times, guys, but it is kind of annoying, right? So if you want to provide multiple author information, like let's say I want to provide 10 groups or 10 devices maybe. So as part of my cross browser testing, each test is executed in 6 browsers, let's say. So in that scenario, I have to call this method 6 times. It's kind of annoying, right? So instead of that, what you can do, you can actually provide the entire information in a single method also, guys. Let me write it here. So this method will actually accept the string ... which means you can provide multiple string values here, right? So you can provide the values like this. So let's say Rebecca also involved in this one, and maybe John is also involved in this one. Or let's take a new person name. Let's take G1. Okay. So like this, you can actually provide multiple things also, guys. So there is another way also, that also I will show you. Don't worry. And this is part of the regression, let's say. And also this is part of the sanity. So now I can remove this method. So in a single method, now we are able to provide multiple values, right? Multiple authors, multiple categories, and multiple devices also. So this one also, let me just cut it and put it here. And let's make it Firefox also. Firefox 60. So I can remove this one also, right? So let me just name it as test 5. So okay, without wasting any time, let's add one more also, and I will show you a different way also. So instead of doing like this, you can provide the entire thing in the form of an array also. Maybe if you have already created an array, you can pass that array here, or you can create the array, string array, and you can provide these values. So like this also you can do, guys. You can directly pass the values like this, or you can create an array and pass the values. So anything is fine. Fine. So in this test, I'm going to create the arrays only. Fine. And also there is one more thing, guys. It's very simple one only, but let me tell you. So here in every scenario, I'm using three things, right? So it's not always mandatory, like all the number of parameters should be equal like that. There is no rule. So if you want me to remove this, I can just remove this. So in this scenario, in the first method, we have 3 parameters. That means we have 3 author informations, but we have only 2 categories. That is possible. Fine. So now let me just run this and see. Okay, let me rename this to 6 and let me run this. So if you see test 5, so under the test 5, you got every information, right? So the complete author details and the complete category information and the complete device information. So everything is mentioned here. And if you open test 6, even here also same thing, right? And now if you go to the category categorization, here you can see as part of regression, 3 test cases are actually executed and 1 is failed and 2 are passed. So from here also you can get to know. Fine. So similarly, you can categorize your test cases based on the device information also. So as part of Firefox 60 version, I have executed 3 tests and 1 is failed and 2 are passed. So if you click on that, you can just come back to this one, like why this test is failed, everything you can observe. Fine. And if you go to the author information, here also you can actually categorize based on the author names. So John developed 2 test cases, G1 developed 2 test cases, Rebecca developed only 2 test cases, but Yadagiri developed 4 test cases, and all the 4 are passed, luckily. Fine. And even the dashboard also displays you all the information here. And one more thing is, if you go to the test tab, so if you want to see only the past test cases, you can filter based on your status. So you can filter only the past test cases. If you want to only filter failed, you can filter that. Similarly, you can filter based on the author information also. So I'm going to clear this. And if you want to see only Yadagiri test cases, you can see that. If you want to see all the test cases, you can see that. So here you need to come back and clear. Fine. So in every option we don't have the clear option, only you have to clear it from here. So you can filter your test cases based on the author information, based on the status, and based on the category, and based on the device information also. So this one and this one is little bit different, guys. So in this tab, you are actually categorizing your old test cases based on the category or based on the device or based on the author information. But here you are filtering it. Categorizing is different and filtering is different, right? So you need to understand that point, guys. So if you want to just see how many are executed as part of Firefox 60, you can select that. And if you want to clear the filter, just go to this one and click on clear. That's it. Okay. So this is how you are going to provide this author information and category information and device information to the extent reports, guys. So now you got a clear understanding, right? So you can provide the information like this if it is a single information, and you can provide the information like this also, but it is kind of annoying. So n number of times you have to call that method, right? But this and this is little bit easy. So basically this is easy. You don't have to even create the array also. In this one you have to create the array, but here you don't have to create the array also. So I hope you understood this video, guys. So this is for this video. If you have any doubts, please let me know in the comment section below. Thank you, guys. Bye bye.